Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the Diabetes Care Summit. I'm Dr. Barbara Akimbua, and I'm your health buddy. This summit is for you if you've been diabetic for a while and you've been struggling with keeping your blood sugar controlled, either because you have problems knowing what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, what else you need to do to keep healthy, or you do know these things, but it's difficult to be motivated. It's also for you if you have an elderly parent who is diabetic that you care for, and you find juggling medications, clinic visits, meals, and then illnesses in between overwhelming. Or you're a beautiful married woman and all you would love to have is a normal pregnancy and delivery. And instead, you keep having miscarriages and stillbirths as a result of complications of diabetes. Or it could be your husband. He is the one who's diabetic. And during sex, you have problems. It's either most of the time he can't get it up, or he has other problems while you're having action. It's also for you if you're a health enthusiast and you believe that prevention is cheaper and better than cure. And so you'd like to learn anything you need to know to stay healthy. During this summit, you listen to loads of interviews by different specialists, including myself. Some of the interviews are short and some are not so short. But I'd encourage you to watch each video till the end because there's loads of important health information and you're getting it all for free. So, once again, welcome to the Diabetes Care Summit, and don't forget, I'm Dr. Barbara Akimbua and I'm your health buddy. See you on the healthy side. Today we'll be talking about living with diabetes. Today I have two special people, and I'll let them introduce themselves and say what their relationship is to each other. So over to you.
You go first. It's your interview.
Hello, my name is Hussaina Charity Atto. And
what do you do? What do you used to do?
Oh, okay. I'm retired now. I retired in 2014 when I turned 60.
Oh, wow.
But I retired as a Deputy Postmaster General in charge of special duties from NIPOST. Before then, I worked several years with the Nigerian Television Authority as a producer, became a controller of programs. And when I was in NIPOST for 23 years, I was public relations manager.
Wow. So, you had a distinguished career, even though everything was somehow related.
I did.
Very good career.
And that's my daughter.
Hi.
Okay. So, what does your daughter do? What's her name?
Should I go ahead?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
All right, perfect. My name is Hannatu Jamila Adepoega. This is my mom. I am a senior sales manager with Oracle. What else? I'm going to be 40 next year. I am going to be 40 next year. I have two children. I live in Lagos. I love Lagos, by the way. And yeah, I think that's it. And I'm happy to be here. And Dr. Barbara is my friend.
Thank you. Happy to have you both. So I'll start with your mom. We're talking about living with diabetes. So how long have you been diabetic? How many years?
Wow. I was diagnosed as a diabetic in 1980.
1988.
89.
89.
Yes.
I have to calculate so that I'll know how many years.
It's a long time.
99, 2009, 2009.
That's 33
Have you
years.
talked?
That's 30. How many
Yeah,
years?
33.
33 years.
Huh? 33, yeah.
33 years.
Wow.
By the grace of God.
Mm.
Wow.
Everything she survived by the grace of God, really.
And she's still surviving. She's surviving and thriving.
Yeah.
Congratulations and well done.
Thank you.
How did you feel when you were told you were diabetic the first time?
Let me start. I was working as head of information for MAMSA in that 1989. And I saw that I was going to the bathroom very often. And sometimes I'll see ants around my
Wow.
pee. So I told my sister, who was in ABU Teaching Hospital in Zaria, and she said, oh, come over immediately and let me have you examined. So I traveled all the way to Zaria from Mina. I was in Mina at that time. I was working in Mina at that time, and they were to carry out the test. But unfortunately, in the whole of the hospital, they didn't have the reagent to do the test. So I had to come back to Mina, and our older sister was in America then, or is
then.
She was in America then, still is in America, and she said, listen, just get yourself to America immediately, let them do the test. So that was how I got myself to America, and immediately went to the hospital, and they said I was diabetic. I didn't even know what it was at that time. They had to sit me down, educate me, Oh, high sugar level, wow. And I said, okay, fine. The way forward is the way forward. I didn't really think deeply or seriously about it. I didn't think it was a life-threatening something at all. I just said, okay, we'll get by it, yeah.
Wow. I literally had my jaw drop because you traveled all the way to Zaria from Mina.
Yes.
And you couldn't get the test done, and you had to travel all the way back.
Yes.
Wow.
And then had to go to
the United States.
Yes. That's the truth. That was happened. Yeah, because my sister said, we will not take any chances. So get your things, get time off, go immediately to the US. And that was what happened. I did.
I'm speechless, because what if you didn't have a sister in the United States?
What if I didn't have you? Yes.
What if you didn't have how to get to America?
What if I didn't have what if?
The what ifs are so many.
So many, yeah. That's how people die. Careless death.
Yes.
And it says the village people.
Hi, have you heard of Soyo, the new diabetes care app? Studies show that the best medicine to take for diabetes is to get education about it. Because if you understand how it affects your body, you'll know better what you need to do to fight it. It will also help you to take care of someone else with diabetes. With the app, you don't just get education, you also get to make your management plan either for yourself or the person you're taking care of. There are also lots of other features like meal plans, medication, and other reminders to keep you on track. And if you fall off, don't worry, just get back on. This is how families can live healthy and happy with diabetes. Don't be left behind. Download the app at soyo.web.app to care for yourself or someone else with diabetes. So what did they tell you to do, and then how did you cope when you got back initially in those first few months? Because now you've had your diagnosis in the US, you're coming back to Nigeria. Were there,
Yes.
how did you cope? Did you have access to medication? Did you have access to a physician in a hospital that could manage you back? Because if you couldn't even get a test done at that time, I'm wondering how you coped when you got back.
For 3 months or for 6 months, and they told me the do's and don'ts, what to eat, what to avoid, how to exercise, don't stress yourself. And unfortunately, I had a stressful job. MAMSA, you remember MAMSA just came out, and so we had to travel around villages, local government areas, informing people about what government is doing, what government wants them to do, how government can take care of them and all that. And it was quite a difficult time for me, but I got so good. All along, I've had very understanding bosses, people I worked with. And so I said to my boss at that time, my head of MAMSA, sir, I would have to be shuttling to the US because I didn't know where to turn to. ABU couldn't help me. I'm sorry that I'm saying it as it is, but that is the truth.
Yes, yes.
I was working in Mina, and if ABU could not, I wonder how, I could cope in Mina. But I survived, thank God. And so, another interesting thing was that when I was there, being diagnosed as diabetic, I had a call from Lagos, from my former governor, that he wanted me to come and take up the job in communications to mop up the image of NIPOST.
Okay.
I had just gotten to the US and I was diagnosed diabetic, and there's no way I can come back.
Take that on. Okay.
So anyway, that was 89 and 990.
Maybe
91, yeah. But so I just managed. I was going backwards and forwards the US, and I can't remember if I had a doctor in Mina. I don't know, but if I did, it was just to say, oh, you're back. What are the medications they gave you, and look at it. But I was doing it on my own, by myself, and going to the US. And
no HMO.
How were you doing your blood tests then? By yourself?
Oh yes, by myself, yes. Wow. I still do it today, every I had the kit and everything. I had a blood pressure machine from the US, and I was doing everything by myself. I had all the medications, Yes.
I should jump in and tell you two fun facts. Some of these things she's saying now, I'm actually just hearing them, I think, for the first time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There's some parts of the story that I probably didn't really know. Maybe I've forgotten. And what she mentioned about her so it's not today you started this whole getting a medication from America and coming to tell the doctor this is what I'm on. Her being the doctor, because every time we go to the hospital, when she reads out her medication, she tells them, oh, this is what I need, this is what I want. They all go, sorry, ma, are you in the medical profession? Because they all just assume she's a doctor or a nurse or something, because she's so in control of her situation, which is something I got from her as well. I tell her, I don't like to not know what's going on, doctor. Before you touch me, before you draw blood from her, I need to know your name, I need to know what's going on, because I'm used to her being in control of that situation. And next thing I wanted to say was, it's amazing how her medicine, not necessarily her medicine, her apparatus, her devices, her injections, I've seen literally the evolution of them from when they were the basic needles, and when insulin was and now it's the nice slick pen that you can just throw in your purse and nobody knows what it is. And even my children can give it to her now. They're very involved in, they're going to give Kaka her injection. So just amazing how things have changed, over the years. Well, let me not preempt the interview. So go ahead, continue.
No, that's nice, because I was going to ask you, at what point did you know she was diabetic? How old were you when you knew that she has diabetes?
I don't
Or
know.
were you with me?
I wasn't really with her that
Okay,
much.
yeah.
I was with my grandmother, but I know when you used to come to visit, and well, it's her. Well, both of us are very open books, so it's not a personal thing. I used to know that.
Are you not in America?
No, but when I was in Essence in Kaduna, when I came back,
Mm.
so I was in America for a while with my grandmother, and then I came back while she was doing all this. She had a nice career while she dropped with her mother.
Okay.
But anyway, when we settled back and I came back, I was in primary school in Kaduna. And I used to know that every time she would come, she always had a cup. She always had a special cup in the bathroom that nobody was allowed to use. You know, there's always that cup in the bathroom. And I think that was the
What
first
was the
time.
problem?
That's what you're doing when you're doing urine therapy.
Okay.
So it was, I don't even, I think it was my cousin that told me, don't you know what your mom uses it for? And I was like, no. You know, and I think that was my first introduction to the
Okay.
fact that, okay, my mom was taking more medication than other people, or she had, you know, other special needs, in quotes, you know, than the average mom, I guess. I think that was the first time I think I was clearly told, oh, you don't know your mom does. So what do you think she does with the cup? And I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't think anything of it. Did I know you see yourself injections? I'm not sure. It wasn't so public. That's the public. It wasn't like now that we tell Israel go and get Kaka's insulin from the kitchen, you know. So it wasn't that special. Maybe I should have noticed the insulin vials. Maybe I noticed them. I just didn't think anything of
But
it.
you were in school a lot
In
of the
primary
time.
school, yeah.
You were, so at what point after you became an adult, did you start getting involved with her care? How long ago was this?
Oh wow.
Before 92, because
What happened next?
92 was when I started taking injections.
Okay,
When
that's
we
when
were together. Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Like she said, maybe it wasn't something in the open,
okay.
you know, so she wasn't so much involved, you know, in the initial stage. I know I was a bit careless from 89 when I was diagnosed till 92. They put me on insulin, also in the US, not in Nigeria.
God bless America.
God bless them. We love Nigeria, but God bless America.
Yeah, God bless them.
Yes, so I was basically managing myself in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
Yes,
So
yes.
did
So
you
what point
develop?
did I get involved? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. And I think what happened was, let's rewind a bit. I
Okay.
think in 82, 83, when I was pregnant with her,
Yeah.
I think she was a big baby.
Okay.
That was when they suspected diabetes. Yes, yes, yes. 82, 83. I had her in 83. So the doctor said, wow, you know, she was a big baby and all that. And so they suspected. So I don't know how I managed between 83 and 89 when I finally, you know, got
Okay.
serious. Yeah. I think I wasn't too sick or I wasn't too what, because I was just doing my job. I was in NTA, you know, for those years. And it dawned on me, you know, seriously.
Afterwards.
In 89. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so probably what happened, it was starting at that time, but it wasn't serious.
If I had been more careful, I probably would not have, it probably would not have escalated.
Yes, yes.
That
But like you,
period of
you know, like yeah, like you said, you didn't even know what it was.
No,
So
no.
you
I was
can't.
careless in my eating and, you know, drinking of Coke and a little bit of, you know what.
Okay. Okay. So did you develop any other health issues or it's just diabetes?
79,
Yes.
I was diagnosed as hypertensive.
Okay.
I had high blood pressure in 79. Okay. So the doctor in 89 now said a bad case. high blood pressure, diabetes. So now you got to be very, very careful. But I think I just was not careful enough. I was just having a wild life, like traveling, going places, doing. I just loved what I was doing, so I just sunk. I don't know. I have no
She had a
idea.
good life.
I have no idea of what happened, but
I think you've made the most of what life has thrown at you. Yes. And I think that's what's important.
yeah.
No regrets.
No,
yeah.
regrets. But then I had so my health just nosedived, kind of. Yes, in the long run.
So
Okay.
how has having to cope with diabetes changed your lifestyle? What are the changes you've had to make?
I have to know that it's not business as usual.
Okay.
I am very cautious of stressing myself. Okay. And I have to be strict in taking of the blood sugar level, blood pressure. I have to be aware of myself. Like now that I told her I was beginning to feel shaky.
Okay.
So it has changed so many things, in my life. So my lifestyle has changed, but I try not to make people like, I try not to be like, to make it so obvious. I can be talking with you and I can take my injection, you won't know. Wow. On the plane, I take my injection, people around me don't know. So, but it has just made me a little bit more conscious and aware of myself and what is around.
That's her insulin pen.
That's her pen.
Yes, which one is that?
Oh, this is a new one.
This Novolog.
It's Novolog.
The short acting one. Doctor knows.
Then I for the sake of the audience. Where are they?
Here, yes, there.
There? Oh, right.
That's Vic.
This is Lantus.
Lantus.
What's Lantus?
The long acting one.
I think what I really want to show people is the needle, to show people how tiny the needle has evolved. You understand? It's amazing how tiny it is. Like literally, it's so tiny.
So on board, I just set it and lift up.
Yeah, and no one knows what you're doing.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
It's Victoza. What does Victoza do?
Victoza is the one that is the quick acting one once a day that helps to break down 24 hours. So, Novolog.
We should Novolog. That's the one. That's the first one.
Not the orange.
So it's not here. So you know. Okay.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, I've shown one. That's the blue one.
You've shown.
It's blue and orange. Well, potato.
I have the pens, the needles.
She has needles. Okay. We have the extra needles. So this is part of what comes with her medication.
Okay. What of her drugs? Does she have any tablets or stuff she's taking?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
a bunch of them.
So she even has her alcohol swabs. So very important for anybody that has it. And then this is another pack of needles. So this just literally came in today.
This just came in today. My friends came from America yesterday.
Ask me what I'm doing show and tell. I see it's my load.
This is my bag. First of all, this is the bag for the test.
For our blood test.
For the glucose meter. Yeah.
That's
I put the test strips in here.
Yeah.
Then the
actual pen
to prick myself.
Yeah, the lancet.
For those of you that do not know what it looks like, so it looks like
what?
That's the strip.
That's the strip.
So then the lancets are here. This blue one.
Let me take it out. And the lancets are I can open them. We have so many. So people are not afraid. Oh, that's nothing. Can you see how tiny the needle is?
Yes, we can.
It's not as painful as it looks, people. It's no longer that painful.
Then I have the book.
Medicine has been good to us.
Okay.
Give me several of them. I must record before
Your
I eat.
results. Okay.
2 hours after I eat. So, like you said, how has it changed
Your
my lifestyle? I have to do it before I eat, 2 hours after I eat, before I eat lunch, 2 hours after lunch, before I eat dinner, 2 hours after I eat dinner, and probably at bedtime.
Okay.
Yes, because the doctor has to see the pattern.
Yes.
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 Yes, but I thank God that can she see them?
She can't, so
She's going to raise all of.
Oh my
Wow.
-2.
Let me count. Hold up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
There's 2 more here that didn't make the patch. These 2 didn't make it.
So that's 12 different pills.
And it's not all. I don't think it's all. We have, because you take 13. She takes
No.
early morning, and then evening every day. But some she takes vitamin C, takes vitamin D as well. So
vitamin C, vitamin D. Then I have the one for the nitroglycerin.
It is a very important.
For your heart.
Yes, for my heart.
She doesn't even take it often.
Yes.
Magical tiny bottle. She doesn't take it that often.
So I take 4 in the morning. I take 5 before breakfast, 4. After breakfast, 5. After dinner, 4.
Okay.
Yes.
4, 5, 4. Okay. So Hannah, Hannah, what have you noticed that she does well or she's able to cope with well?
Her blood pressure and her sugar levels are better than mine. That's the one I can't get over. Her blood pressure is standard, better than mine. When I was pregnant with my last Amari, maybe I said last, that's why I have plenty. Anyway, I was pregnant with my last. A few weeks before, they told me they had been worried about my sugar levels from Nigeria. I'd been worried. I started checking, so I started having to log, and I said, "Oh, it's not to log; it's a piece of cake." Because I'm used to seeing her log everything. How hard can it be? It's not to write down what I ate and to be testing. You know, they're like, "Oh, dear, you have to be coming to the hospital for tests." I said, "Test, yeah. I can supply you people with tests because she always tends to give me test strips, and I have my own glucose. I don't know it is safe. You know, it's not new at all. I even have another story aside from that. So when I got to America after a while, they told me yes, they had to put me on insulin for a few weeks, just the last few weeks before they're going to induce me to get my daughter out. And they went through the whole, let's talk about it. And I was looking at it like, even my mother can teach you what things people are saying. Like what was I going about? What was I people telling me that I don't know? Even though she claims she learned some things from Dr. Heidi, what was her name? Jody. It wasn't Jody. It was Jody. No, not your Jody. My own dietitian, the one that showed us the sweet corn and everything. She said that she kept saying that if they had taught her all these things in Nigeria, maybe we should be eating better. But you know, it makes it easier for things like for me. It's not not that I like needles, but if you tell me to give myself injection, it's not. When I was having IVF in 2013, when did I have my IVF? I can't remember. I remember a lot of girls in the hospital that were having the same procedure, and they would go to the hospital every day to get their injections. And I was like, why? It's not injection in stomach. So now my mom showed me once how to do it. That was all. I remember one time I was out of needles. She told me, she said, go to the pharmacy or the hospital, ask them for this particular needle. It was the smaller one, you know, or I'll tell her, oh, it's not going through the skin. She'll say, clean another piece and try, you know. So I knew how to hold my belly and give myself my shot. So I think if her having diabetes or me being involved in her care didn't profit me in any way, it helps in those 2 times of my life where I had to give myself injections. It wasn't oh my God, a jittery something for me. It was okay. I've seen my mom do this. I know what to do. You know, so it was like a matter of fact thing for me. So that really helps. That really helps. Having somebody that knows what they're doing really helps.
So that is something positive that has come out.
Yeah.
So is there anything? Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say that Hannatu has been, you know, a strong woman, you know, very strong, because we have gone through a lot.
A whole lot.
We've gone through a lot. When I was here in Lagos, you know, when she was in school, come There was one time that I had a boil on
Yeah.
my groin, and the
Yes.
doctor called my older sister here in Lagos that they should inform the family that I may not make it through the night. I mean, what kind of a
Wow.
doctor is that? The doctors in America will never tell you such a thing.
Now what happened?
I will die.
I can't remember that.
Oh, we were in school.
I imagine.
What year was that? I can't, you know, for just a boil. It was because it went deep,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't know. I don't know. I just, the doctors in Nigeria sometimes, I'm sorry to say,
Feel free.
they need to, is this guy in the toilet?
She's still there.
They need
Let me go and check her.
to learn how to communicate with their patients. So I don't like a doctor. I go to you and you just think I'm just a piece of wood. First
Yeah.
of all, they don't tell you their names, you know, and they don't put you in that I don't know, comfortable position to
Yeah.
want to talk to you, and you know, I have a right, you know. So it's my the what I have psychologically, you know, it has affected me because in America one day I went and I said I didn't want to see a particular doctor,
Okay.
a man or something, and then he was there, and I was saying that no, I want that doctor that I saw the last. You understand?
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't take any offense at all. I mean, they were very cautious because they know I could report them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they can't impose anything on me. But here, you just come, one doctor will call you, just sit down. Yes, what brought you? This is. I said, come on, what is your name? What is your name?
True.
My name is Susaina Atu. You know,
Very
make me
true.
feel comfortable, please. So I'm talking to you. I don't know where your program is going to, but please let our doctors, there are some of them that are good. Let our doctors learn or recognize what's the word? Empathy, you know, and talk to their patients, even if I'm dying.
Tell me
if I would die on your bed, on your that's your bed in your room.
Yes, the
Talk
couch.
to me nicely. Talk to me nicely. Talk to me nicely, and you know, like she said, the last time I was in the military hospital here in Ikoyi, the doctor said, "Madam, are you a medical personnel?" I said, "No." But over the years, I mean, since 1989 up to date, you know, I've worked with several doctors or gone through the hands of several doctors, you know. So, and I'm very comfortable with doctors now. So, and, you know, but one thing that I must say is that I'm grateful to God that I had the opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
You have access to those, the kind of healthcare that you have.
Yes, because I remember each time I had a major, maybe like attack or something in Nigeria, as soon as I'm out of the hospital, my family takes me to the US. Yes. You understand? Not everybody has that opportunity. Yes. So that's why I'm saying that please, if doctors can be a bit more patient with us, you know, and show more love and more care and more whatever, you know. Even in government hospitals, I mean,
once in a while you get some really good doctors, like Barbara, of course. That's
was
nice enough to speak to you without being your patient or your doctor, you know. And I think writing on that, what something I would like to say is, like she said, the healthcare. I know every time she comes into the country, because she lives in the States, every time she's coming to spend her time with us, you know, I always go into that panic mode and God, please let nothing happen. Because I tell people, I say sometimes in Lagos, what could kill people? It's not necessarily even the hospital or the sickness. It's even the traffic, just getting to the hospital, you know. So I'm always going through that. Oh God, do you really have to come? Do you have to extend your stay? Not that I don't love her, but it's just the fear of the healthcare here and the fear of, out-of-pocket expenses. Sometimes after, mommy, let's go to the hospital. Don't be afraid. The bill can't be that much. The fact that people don't have access to HMO is very worrisome, which is something that's
health insurance.
Sorry, health insurance is something that's very worrisome in Nigeria. And just really the time, because I know you mentioned how have I gotten more involved in her healthcare. Just little things like even paying for her life insurance policy in the States, making sure that she gets her meds on time. They're always looking for who's traveling so they can bring her medication in. It's the little things that kind of count, or that have made me more involved or more aware, or that, like I was going to say earlier, I think before it cut off, I remember one story when you had your stents. Yeah, I remember waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was quite young then, I wasn't married then. And my auntie dropped me at the bus stop. I said, make sure you don't miss the bus stop for the hospital, because she was having a surgery that morning. And it's such a vivid memory in my mind, how worried I was going to the hospital, and she had her surgery. So if it's involved in that sense, yes. Abuja Clinics, when was it? 2013. She traveled and had yogurt, fura.
Was it 2013?
Was it?
2012.
2012, you're right. She had fura, and from the Mina, where did you go to Mina? From the journey is how we entered Abuja Clinics for 1 week, and she was on oxygen for that 1 week.
Wow.
Thanks.
8 tanks of oxygen. Her bill when we were leaving, her bill was over 2 million. Over 2 million for just 1 week. Which is why when people say, oh, pray, you don't know how much oxygen is, I tell them, I know how much it was at 2012. I know exactly how much it is. So trust me, when I pray, thank God for oxygen, I know exactly what I'm praying for, So those kind of things where, and like I said, I'm an only child. I don't have a brother or sister.
Yeah.
So I tell her, I said there are very few family members I will leave her with willingly, and say I'm going to sleep. But that whole week, I spent the whole week on the floor in the hospital, sleeping and watching her oxygen levels. This is before COVID, before we knew what oximeter was.
Yeah.
I was watching oxygen levels way before that, So if it's been involved, we've like you said, we've been through quite a bit. Maybe that's why we're so close, annoyingly close. Right?
Annoyingly.
No, she's in my. Trust me, we're in each other's business.
But you have to be.
Yeah. So
okay. So do you do any exercise? Do you do any physical exercise?
No. I hardly do. No.
Okay.
But
it's not because I don't want to. Diabetes has affected my eyes. I didn't tell you that.
Okay.
Can you see?
I can see.
You can, the right eye has decided to stop functioning.
Okay.
The left eye doesn't even have any lens, so I
Wow.
can't see without the glasses at all.
Wow.
And in 2012, I was diagnosed as having spinal arthritis.
Okay.
So my back is even involved. I can't walk for long at all. I have excruciating pains that make me cry. My knees have become arthritis. What would you call it? My knees, I have arthritis in my knees. So I would want to do some exercises, but I can't.
You can't.
I can't because of the pains I have.
Okay. So Hannatu, do you know the names of all the drugs she's taking? If you had to tell anybody else, can you name them?
So yes, you asked me, can I mention her? Oh yes, I can.
Okay,
the bulk of them, yes, I can.
You have a list. You type.
I have a list. Yes, we have it. So we have a list. So anybody helping her, she takes it around morning, night, because we do every 2 weeks. She has her medicine pack. So we need to buy another pack anyway. So we have her big medicine bag. So she has for 2 weeks at every given time, and then we just do a refill every 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
So we kind of have a system.
Okay. And you know her doctors. If you know her medicines, I'm sure you know her doctors and they know.
I do. I don't know some now, since some have changed over the years. I've not been in the States for a while because of COVID and everything. So some doctors have changed, but I know Dr. Bofsha. Dr. Bofsha is her eye doctor, and his wife, Dr. Mary, is amazing. My husband and wife are both eye doctors. I know Jody before she left. I know who?
Bashir, the heart.
Dr. Bashir, his heart, yes, her cardiologist. Jody, have you seen Jody again? She back? Jody's not back. Where's the one that went to Ethiopia? The really pretty one. That's how many doctors we've been through. And her main doctor, the ultimate of all doctors, Dr. Umar. He is in Abuja. He has been our long-standing. He has been the godsend in her life. They are he's a consultant physician. He's a general. He's a major general. He's retired.
Okay.
He has his own practice now, but he also consults for the Nigerian army. But he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's the first person we call when anything goes wrong. When we had COVID in January 2020, all of us had COVID in the house. He was the first person we called. And he was the one that got the medicines that she needed, even though she didn't have a single symptom, not even a cough, not even
That is amazing.
Yes, because I spent the whole of when was COVID? 2020, right? Yeah, so we had COVID January 2021.
From Sokoto.
She was a bit sick, but that was malaria. I was like, we felt it was malaria. It wasn't COVID because I gave you the COVID. Anyway, so the whole of 2020, I spent it praying with my prayer group, saying, "Oh, please pray for my mom. She's in America. Pray she doesn't get COVID." Because when they're saying, "Oh, what are the underlying conditions?" What don't you have, so that we can tick it off, as opposed to what do you have. So to now come to Nigeria, where I thought was even the safest place at some point, and to get the COVID, they had to give her antiviral drugs. Is that correct? The ones they give HIV patients.
Yes.
And there was none in Lagos in 2021. They were sold out. So Dr. Omar was very helpful in getting them from Kaduna and flying them into Lagos. So, those kind of extra things, it's good to have someone that is, knows the patient's history. Anytime she has a fever or something, he's the one that's okay, maybe it's time for you to go to military hospital in Lagos. So when you say being involved, that's literally how involved I am, with her care.
So she's been seeing Dr. Umar has been there for how long now? How many years? 10 years? More than that?
I was born knowing Dr. Umar. I'm going to be 40. I've known Dr. Umar okay, maybe not since I was born. But I've known Dr. Umar since I had sense.
Okay.
So I can't.
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years. Dr. Umar has been in my life forever.
Okay. So she's had access.
Daughter is named after me.
Wow.
Jamila, she's named after me. So that's to show you how long they've been friends.
Yeah. So she's had access to one stable physician for that long, which is very important for patients with that, because you need someone, a doctor that knows everything.
That knows everything.
Yes.
Where's Dr. Ante? Okay, and then she had Dr. Ante. Dr. Ante was also another stable person, but I think the traveling and they kind of lost touch. But Dr. Omar is not just friends with her; he's friends with he's a family doctor. Is everybody go and call Dr. Omar? Go and call Dr. Omar. You call Dr. Omar. So yeah.
So how has your mom coped with paying for her health care all this while? Because from what you say, I don't even want yeah. Because paying for healthcare is a really, really big deal, and it can be painful seeing people and so it's one thing for the treatment not to be available. And then it's another thing for it to be available, but you can't afford it.
I can't afford this.
So how?
I pay Naira.
Okay, when my older auntie or her older sister was alive, she used to pay. Momizi, the rest as well. She used to pay, and we used to pay her in Naira. My mom would pay her back in Naira, and
I could buy 5-6 months
in advance
because I was paying myself.
Yes. So she used to pay she used to pay my auntie. Yeah, she used to pay my auntie in Naira. So that was very helpful then. And I think I know which of your surgeries did they write off for you? One of your bills. She had a bill. She had a bill of
$21,000.
how much?
$27,000.
$27,000. It was written off for her in America.
The first
tent. What did you pay for the second one? You didn't pay for the second one.
I didn't pay.
You know, so she's been very blessed and fortunate. And my auntie was very organized. Probably the most organized out of all of them. In fact, probably. And like I said, her sister shouldn't hear that, but she was, and she deeply loved my mother, very, very deeply. I mentioned it that sometimes she would look at me and she would say, "Oh, Mama Anatu, let me hear name again. Okay, Anatu, hey, Mama," you know. And I think she had a lot of foresight with regards to my mom's health. With regards to, she was very responsible about her health. She was very concerned. She was so concerned about my mom's health. We wonder if she took enough time with her own health because she passed from cancer. But I guess she did. She organized she put her estates really well in order before she passed. But anyway, she did it. She made lots of decisions for my mom ahead that we are now just reaping the benefits, and we're seeing, especially with the way dollar is now. I can't imagine if he hadn't done all these things. You know, now my mom has the green card, and that's because of all the things Mom Z had done. She was in the States for a long time, so all her medication come at a very subsidized rate. She has health insurance.
So just co-pay.
So she co-pays, you know, and it's amazing because, like she said, it's not everybody that has that. I can't imagine buying
1,000.
I can't imagine
1,000 something.
It's how much?
$25.
You know.
Wow.
So you can't imagine. No, you know, so you can't imagine how much would have had to pay if she was paying all these things. So that's been very helpful, which is why I say when she comes to Nigeria, it's not, I can't imagine. Most people, when they travel, they worry about healthcare. I'm worried when she comes to Nigeria because HMOs don't want to answer me. When they give me bills, I try to explain to them, we're not taking your medication from the hospital. We're not doing anything. I just need, if she has a headache or she has malaria, give her medicine and do malaria tests, and I don't have to pay out of my pocket. That's really what I need HMO for. So if any HMO is listening, please do better. But yeah, you know, it's been a privilege for her to have access to healthcare, to good healthcare, to good doctors. She has her appointments well in advance. When people were worried about COVID tests, you know, hers was waiting for her. I think your booster is waiting for you now. Her booster shot is waiting for you. Yes, please.
So Hanatu, how has Hanatu helped you? Let me ask that question. Or how does Hanatu help you? Yes.
Can
you translate what that means?
There is no.
You can't quantify
it. Something like that. And Hanatu, I told you she's a strong woman, you know.
Yes.
And she's been there. She's been there for me, and I appreciate her husband. They have just, you know, been fantastic. You know, you can't quantify. You can't quantify what or how she's handled my whole affairs, you know. So she's like a mother to me now.
Oh, wow. That's lovely to hear.
Like my mother now.
Okay.
It's not easy to have a mother that is not, you know, very strong, you know, and to think that I was the bubbling type in those days, you know, and now I have cooled down. It's me now that says I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there, because I feel more confident when she's around.
Oh.
If I'm going out, you know, I would rather, you know, she's there with me because she'll hold my hand, tell me there's a step, because I can't see properly. Mommy, there's a step, there's this, there's that, you know, that kind of thing. We go out, we go to parties, she's there, she'll help me bring what I will eat and all that, you know, so yeah. So she's just there, she's my mother.
Wow. Wow.
Handles it's not, you know, it's not all children that will have time for you.
Yes.
When the sun is setting. You understand? I don't know if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. My dad is late and he was diabetic.
Just like last year.
Oh.
Died last year.
Was he diabetic?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
And she always, just like how I talk about you, she always talks about her dad.
I can relate. I
always talk about
understand.
her dad. Yeah. May so rest in peace.
Amen. Amen.
Did he
So
have
Hannah,
complications?
what do you do for your mom?
She was asking us, did he have complications?
He had dementia towards the end. That was in fact, that was his only complication.
Dementia,
And
that's forgetting.
Forgetting.
yes, and my dad was a professor. So
Oh.
it was hard, it was
Hard.
difficult for him because he was used to, academics, using his brain. So
Yeah.
when he started forgetting, it was hard. It was it was really hard. He would complain that he keeps forgetting things. He keeps forgetting things. So for years he had a jotter. He always carried a jotter with him to write things down, because if he didn't write them down, he won't remember. So the things you do for your mom, why do you do them for?
How are they doing for you? They're like,
She said it's not every child that will take care of you. It's not, so why do you choose to?
you now make her head swell. Am I supposed to tell her how this thing? No. So like I said, I'm an only child. My mom has been mother, father, even though my father was in the picture. Yeah, he was in the picture, but my mom has been my rock. I tell people, I say, if you want to know people that know me, they will ask, how are you? How's your mom? They don't ask how are your parents. People that truly know me don't ask how are your parents. They ask how's your mom, because they know that my mom is, even when the first time my husband called me, he saw my picture on somebody's phone and said, give me her number. And it was from a friend. And the first time he called me, he said, how are you? How's your mom? I said, clearly you're talking to somebody that knows me. That's not a random question. It's not a random thing. So yeah, my mom is, when you grow up knowing, I don't want to use the word Voltron. You have, like, those bubble gum dispensers
Yes.
that you just turn and they dispense.
Mhm.
And I wasn't spoiled, ironic, contrary to very popular belief. I didn't grow up spoiled, but I grew up with a very strong sense of self,
Okay.
the strong sense of I am not supposed to lack. Do you understand? I knew that my mother would bend over backwards
For
if
you.
something needed to be done for me. I knew, which is why, I understand God's love, because it's been translated to me in human form, right? And I told her before in this my grown age, and I tell her, I say, we thank God for God, we thank God for a good job, we thank God for the blood of Jesus, we thank God for a lot of things, but we've reached a point in my life where if we didn't have access to resources, if we didn't have access to good healthcare, to the healthcare in America,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything I honestly wouldn't do if my mother needed money for medicine. And I mean that in the most basic sense of the word, without saying too much on your interview.
Yeah.
I don't judge, so which is why I don't judge a lot of girls for what they do. Because I tell people, you don't know what their problems are. You don't know what their stories are. I'm not endorsing it, but I can understand that sense of responsibility. I can understand that deep sense of love and that deep sense to provide for my provider. Not
Yeah.
that you know the place of God, but so when you ask why do I do for my mom, I don't, and I'm not saying this like, oh, I don't have a choice, but I don't see another alternative. Do you understand?
Yeah.
There's no alternative universe. Even if there was an alternative universe, it's still the same thing. And it's amazing how being an only child and being raised by her and being just being responsible for so many things has affected even my work life. If you ask any of my bosses, Hanatu works like a guy. Hanatu, if you call her at 7, she's ready. Set meetings at 10 p.m. Hanatu is ready. Whatever it is, it's something I got from my mom. We work without thinking, oh, I'm not the person I'll say, oh, I have to go to the hospital. I don't encourage and suffer those kind of things, even with my team. But what they will tell you, Hanato has issues is delegating. Because I always tell people I'm used to doing it by myself. It's faster to do it by myself. So I don't have time for somebody else to do it. Then for me
And
to
waste
wait
your
and
time.
come back And for you to tell me when I could have done it myself, and then you know that any mistake was on me. I'm the one that can fix it myself. And I think it comes from this knowing I'm an only child. I don't have a brother, I don't have a sister. There's nobody I'm going to call, to do this kind of thing. So there's some things you just do because it's that sense of self. You understand, that sense of responsibility, not out of duty. So I don't want somebody listening to think it's out of duty or out of obligation. Do you understand? It's out of not just love, Barbara, very deep love.
It's you see, even out of love, you can love and you are not willing, but you love and you are willing.
And thank God we're able. Yeah. It's something we're very grateful for, Barbara.
You love and you're willing to do it. So is there anything you wish you could do for your mom that you haven't done yet?
I wanted to ask her recently that, so I don't know, okay, I saw it on Instagram or TikTok, one of these things. A girl said her grandmother had always wanted to go to Disney. And I wanted to run down and ask my mom, is there anything you want to do that I can do for you? And I was afraid to ask her question. I know one thing she wants to do, but I don't want the NGO. She wants to set up an NGO, and I don't have the brain capacity for it. So if apart from that, is there anything apart from that?
We don't have the money yet.
We don't have the money yet for that one. And it's just a lot of work that I don't have the energy for right now. Maybe we'll plan it. Like God keeping her. God keeping you. Right. But I don't know. Is there anything? I think the only thing left is for
the question is not for her. The question is for you.
For me?
Yes.
Is there anything just general, like life enjoyment
at all? Anything? Is there anything you wish you could do for her that you haven't done yet?
Take her on a cruise.
That's the only thing. I was just about to say, take her on a cruise. The next thing we're supposed to do is go on a holiday. Okay. I think that's it. But just the logistics. Am I going with children? We have to be wheelchair accessible. But I think that's the only thing. We've gone on a cruise before. We have. Yeah. We've gone on cruises before. And that's another thing. That's another thing. So when you talk about me giving back, I had an amazing childhood. An
adulthood before you married.
Why are you like this?
I like that.
When you were married.
No, I wasn't married. I wasn't married then.
But just about to.
I got a lot of exposure as my mother was going for any meeting or any training. She was packing her handbag. I was like accessory. And I tell her, I say, we have a running joke. I tell her, I say, God just took that and just say, now let me pity you and make this child responsible. If not, the way I was raised was bordering on general irresponsibility. Me and her husband, half the time playing. We're just always playing. If we're not playing, we're traveling. Well, I didn't resume school on time because my mother traveled and she wasn't sure we're coming back. She wasn't ready. But in turn, I had such an amazing experience, just generally traveling with her and hanging out with adults and doing big people stuff, so that was fun. How did we get there? So now it's my turn to take her on vacation. I'm supposed to go for Christmas. I'm looking at Christmas, so let's see how that pans out. She is planning my 40th birthday that me I have not started planning yet.
It's nice to see the rapport between both of you, and I'm happy that what you want to do for her, she already knows because she answered the question before. How have you been able to cope mentally? How have you been able to keep yourself motivated? Because some people give up.
You can't give up if you know Christ.
Okay.
That is number one. Of course, there are times that I want to feel self-pity and say, why am I suffering like this? But I just look back and I say, no way. I won't allow anything, to distract my attention.
Yeah.
And you just have to, nobody can make you happy. You have to make yourself happy.
Yeah.
I like that.
You have to make yourself happy, yes.
You find your joy.
Find your joy. So I deliberately, even with all the medications, people say, you take so much an injection 3 times a day. It doesn't, as if they're talking, I just
wave it, brush it off.
Yeah, brush it off because If you let it sink in, you start feeling sorry for yourself, and you start wondering, what is wrong with me? Why is this person here? Because you can easily be dissuaded, or what is the word,
Discouraged.
discouraged. You see this person living healthy, strong, slim, Sometimes I want to say, look at my sisters, they are slim, they are, older than me. My twin sister is slim, but and so what? Like Hannatu tells me, Mommy, I would rather have you fat
And
than
alive.
dead.
Have you at all?
Exactly. I mean, God forbid it, there are so many people who have died. Headache, simple headache. My colleague died. But look at me, diabetic since 89.
The people that thought she would die first have died and left her.
Complications of all sorts. So why should I waste my time worrying? Why should I waste my time sorrowing and feeling sorry for myself? Even the fact that I can't go out much these days, I won't lie to you, does not really bother me.
She has the thing that
myself in
her
my
grandchildren.
They are enough self to keep me away from party. I mean, not party, wild party, or go and drink or anything. No, but just going out, somebody's having a birthday, It's a lot of work. Before I get dressed, it is a job for me. You understand? Then I have to go, somebody has to hold my hand. Somebody has to tell me, no, this, I can't. We went to a house today, and Anatu has to tell me the chair is behind you, because the place was a bit dark, so we're not happy. So why don't you stay in your house and stay where you are comfortable, where you are appreciated, where you are loved, So that's just it. That's just me.
And I think I always tell her, my mom has an amazing brain. Her brain is, I tell people, I say, if there's one thing I fear more than anything, then I think we didn't know about dementia as much. It was more Alzheimer's for me. She has, sometimes me and her, you see us, we laugh a lot, because we have so many memories and so many things that we've gone through or we've seen, and we just laugh, we cracks us up, so just afraid that those memories will fade, And I remember when I had my son, I know she was very worried that, she won't be able to bath and do the typical Omugo thing. And I told her, I said, I don't need all that. I just need your brain. And literally, her brain showed up. She reminds me of everything. Even now, she's like, don't forget to have a meeting at 12. I'm like, were you listening to my conversation? The truth is, I probably have forgotten I have a meeting at 12. So her reminding me is helping you. Like now, my son is somewhere and she's been on my case. Also, have you sent your husband the address? Let him go and pick up your son. What's the plan for picking up Israel? So she's very involved, and her brain shows up for where she may not be able to show up physically. Do you understand? I tell people, I say, when I first told her I was pregnant, because I had, I waited, I was in God's waiting for a while before I got pregnant. And I remember when I told her I was pregnant, the next week, a woman shows up at my door. Note that I lived in a gated estate in Lagos, and somebody knocks on my door literally and says, Mommy sent me. I said, which mommy? My mother was in America. The woman had gone to market, because I think I mentioned to her that I couldn't cook and I was just tired. I'd gone to market. My mother had called the gate, because for everywhere we live, she has gate number. She had called the gate. The woman had come into the estate, had reached my house, came in.
From America.
Yes. So I tell her, I say, I call her my personal Olivia Pope. My mother is my personal Olivia Pope. She's my fixer. Mommy fixes. I don't have the energy. Even now, when I realize I'm procrastinating something, I just forward it to her. Call the person. Tell me how much I will pay. But sort it out. I don't have the energy for it. I make fun in my friends. I tell my friends, I say, my mother is the CEO of my house. My nanny is the CEO. Between two of them, nothing can go wrong. We're all right. So you find, just to emphasize on if somebody's listening and saying they're sad or feeling sorry for themselves, you find what you're good at. That God is not wicked, or he's not an unjust God that he will leave you totally helpless. He will leave you with something to console you. He will always give you something that will cushion it. And in her case, I have cameras in my house. Guess who looks at the cameras more than me?
Your mom.
When she's in America. She's the one that tell me that Amari they should go and check Amari in the parlor. Who is that sitting in the parlor? I mean, I'm thinking I'm in a meeting. I don't know. I'm not in the house. So things like that, when it comes to Bible study, I know that's all. If you hear my child praying, it's my mother's work. I'm just a learner, so you learn to find comfort in what you can, whatever you have that you're good at. Let that shine through, and that is what you're useful for good at.
Thank you, both of you, for this. This last part has been, I don't know how to say it, but I see a lot of people. It's easy to go into that discouragement hole.
Mm-hmm.
And once you fall in, it's more difficult to pull yourself out.
Yeah.
So being able to be aware of that, not many people have that. And then there's always something to be grateful for. There's always something to give thanks for. There's always something that will give you joy. And Hannatu, I like what you said about God is not wicked. So there's always a bright side.
Oh yeah.
But you have to look for it.
That's good.
So with you telling your mom, yes, you can't be physically present, but I need your brain. And her brain is showing up.
It shows up every day.
Yes. So there's for every dark cloud, there's a rainbow.
Oh yes.
For every storm cloud, there's a sun. And it's important that people start looking out for those things. So Hannatu, what from this whole episode, do you think it has made you, I know you and your mom are close, but has it made you closer? Has it I don't know, what are you grateful for? Because some people will say it was a bad experience, it was this, it was that, but you've been able to turn the lemons into lemonade, so to speak. What are you grateful for from all of it? I know you spoke about giving yourself injections and knowing how to relate with doctors when you meet them, but on a deeper level, what are you grateful for?
I think it's for me.
That I'm alive.
Yeah, that she's alive. That's a given that she's alive. Yeah, but it's a privilege to be able to take care of your parents. It's a privilege to ask her. If you ask her, I ask her for every time I get a job or every time I get a promotion, every time something happens, like especially career-wise, because she was a serious career woman. I ask her, are you proud of me? Because to me, I think that's the most important thing for me. I have to know that she's proud of me, because if not, what's the point? Everything we do is, yes, to give glory to God, but there's also the fact that if somebody has sown so much in your life, you want them to know. It's we always say we pray our parents reap the fruits of their labor.
Yeah,
that this is it. To me, this is it. So it's just the privilege of being able to take care of her and having her available to love and having her available to take care of my children. So I tell people, I say she's like my mom. I tell anybody that wants to hear this. I said my mother had her cake, ate it, went back into the damn kitchen and baked another one. Because she literally is living the life she should have lived with me, with my children. One day I came and I saw her, she entered the kitchen, she never, ever. And when she came in, I said, what's wrong? That was the first time. What's wrong? Why in the kitchen? She said she's making goat stew for Israel. I had to tell the nanny, I said, my mother has cooked for me once in my whole life, once. And it was pepper soup. I wasn't even anything serious, it was pepper soup. And I didn't eat that because I said, I've never seen you cook, so I don't even know if you can cook.
So you didn't eat it?
I can't remember. I'm sure hunger probably drove me. I was in Lagos. I was in secondary school. I came from Little, and I don't know where Auntie Nkoya had gone to. So obviously there was nobody else to save me from my problem that day. So I'm sure I probably ate it in the end. But I just could not fathom that she could cook. I didn't know. And here is my mother, my almighty career mother, in the kitchen making good stew for my son. I said, this life is not balanced. It's not balanced at all. So it's a privilege to be able to watch that and to be able to see that and see her enjoy her grandchildren, because everybody knows her Jikoi and her grandchildren. Jikoki, sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just the privilege of it.
Okay, so what advice would you give anyone that is taking care of a loved one that has diabetes?
Take one step at a time, one day at a time. Be grateful. From her whole life, I tell people, I say, so which is why, and some of my friends say I shouldn't say it, but I tell people, I say, if something happens to me, I say, I say it could have been worse. And I tell people, I say, when you're near death, when you've seen somebody experience near death experiences, or have near death experience, you're grateful that the person didn't die. So if I was to tell anybody, take one day at a time, be grateful because it could have always been worse. Whatever it is you think you're going through, it could have been worse. It's a privilege to take care of somebody. It's a privilege to have your parents take care of them. As stressful and as burdensome as I feel I don't have time. Because when the person is gone, where do you start from?
Yeah.
Understand? Where do you want to start from? So be grateful that you can talk to the person, you can fight with the person. Yeah, grateful that he's there. It's true now. You still have the person to fight with. So as much as it seems hard or it seems like it's a burden, be grateful that you even have the opportunity. Some people would literally pay for that, as expensive as it may seem. Some people would pay to have their parents alive and speaking and just there.
So some people will pay for the burden that you are complaining about.
Oh yeah. Some people will pay for that burden. Some people will pay for that burden.
Okay, so back to you, Ma. What advice would you give anyone who is diabetic and is wondering how to cope? Because you've done it well for more than 3 decades. I can't think of anyone that is better qualified to give advice on this.
Dr. Barbara, my own case is God, though.
Yes.
God. Because like I told you, I've been careless, and I am careless.
Up till now.
I am still careless, so it's just God. I don't know how God loves me so much, too much. So my first advice to any diabetic patient is face God.
Okay.
And you go through, face God, and take your medications regularly. Don't look down on yourself or feel discouraged. And you look, everybody has what they're passing through.
Oh yeah.
Everybody. There's nobody that doesn't have one thing or the other. So don't think that's it. That's the end. No. Over 30 years, God has kept me and is still keeping me. I'm going nowhere. Not anytime soon. At all. By the grace of God.
Amen.
By the mercy of God. So just take your medications regularly. I feel sorry for people in Nigeria. Some people can't even go to the hospital. I feel really bad about that. They cannot afford to go to the hospital. You understand? They can't afford the bills and they're sick.
Yeah.
So I don't know how government can come in. I don't know how you can be an advocate for that in your own little corner.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that anybody that has diabetes, it is not a death sentence.
True.
It is not a death sentence. 33 years and still counting. I know that someday this too will come to pass.
Oh yeah.
But you see, if you're going through anything, God already knows. He knows you. He knows you go through it. He knows how you will cope. He knows how careless you can be, like Husseina. But he will look down at you and stretch his hand and help you. So don't feel bad about it that you have diabetes. Don't feel bad about it that the cell is not curable. You understand?
Yes.
You can live with it.
Yes.
You can live with it. You can live with it. Anybody, if me, Husseina Charisiato, can live this 33 years with diabetes, anybody else can, because a lot of people are more disciplined than I am. I don't have discipline at all. I think God didn't share that for me when he was sending me.
Me too.
To this
I'm
world.
learning.
So if you are disciplined, please stay disciplined. remain focused. You may not have the opportunity that I have of going overseas, living there, having, good health care. But people die. My sister died of cancer in the US. So it's not going to America for treatment that is the answer.
No.
The answer is
That is the answer God provided for you. But for everybody, God provides an answer.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So let's just take a day at a time. Like Anatu said, one day at a time. Sweet Jesus. Do you know that song?
Yes,
One
I do.
day at a time. Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, going to go that.
That's what I'm asking from you.
Wow.
No, I'm just looking for.
Hanatu.
Yes.
Thank you, Matt. I'm glad you took my advice and watched the video till the end, and I hope you learned a thing or two. So don't forget, watch the next videos because there's still lots of information that will be really beneficial to you. Don't forget soil.web.app. Download it now. See you in the next video. Bye.